Carriers keep telling us that 5G is the next big thing. All of their advertisements are talking about it, and nobody's really talking about the disadvantages.
Well,
though.
they tried to, at Verizon anyway.
They tried to.
A Verizon customer service rep said, hey, everybody, if you want to save battery life, they're probably getting a lot of complaints, just turn off 5G, use LTE for now. That was noticed by a lot of different outlets like The Verge, who reported it, and then Verizon eventually deleted the tweet because I bet they got in trouble for that. Somebody was trying to be helpful, put out a helpful tweet, and then they were like, we can't have that.
Yeah, that's the first major disadvantage of 5G. It's just phone battery life is going to die a lot faster. The system on a chip designs just aren't there yet. They're working on it, and I think in a few years it'll be improved, but right now, not good.
Yeah, it stinks. I mean, you got 5G, which is kind of like a conglomeration of different technologies. You get your high band, which is ultra fast, mid band, low band. It's not just like 4G LTE, which is kind of one antenna that does the trick. Let's move on to the next tip.
Yeah, not accessible in rural America. T-Mobile, the leader in 5G, are saying that by 2023, 90% of people in the United States will have 5G coverage. That leaves behind 10%. 10% is not an insignificant number. That's more than 32 million people.
32 million people, including the farmers in the Midwest, they're getting left out.
There was a story in North Country Public Radio recently where this family has to go out into the middle of their street to get 4G service.
Right.
So all over the country, these rural areas just don't have reliable 4G. And now they're talking about, we're going to push out 5G. And these people who don't have reliable cell coverage right now are still not going to have it.
Right. It's not like 5G is a magic bullet. In fact, in a lot of cases, like the range can be a little bit farther with the low band 5G, but in actual practice, it's not. 4G is actually built out. And I'm even surprised that they have streets in upstate New York.
Now, the FCC realizes that this might be a problem, so there is a $10 million 5G for Rural America fund. We'll see how that...
10 million?
Don't you think we should maybe ask for more than $1 million?
Billion with a B.
Billion. Yeah, 10 million wouldn't be enough.
No.
So we'll see how that plays out over time.
Right. I liked the press release I actually read some of the document that they put out, which to me it seems like they put out these 1,000-page documents so that they could do whatever they want with the money and nobody's ever going to read them. But at the end, they had somebody review it and they were like, rural Americans deserve more than a $9 billion press release.
Yeah.
It's probably true, or you just, some of them might agree with that as well. They deserve 5G coverage or 4G coverage or just coverage, cell phone coverage.
In general.
Internet.
Another disadvantage of 5G, more expensive plans. So Verizon, for instance, Verizon's Start Unlimited plan, which is their lowest tier unlimited data plan, doesn't include the 5G ultra wideband, which is the fastest 5G, the one that's in all the advertisements saying, it's blazing fast. That's the ultra wideband 5G.
Yep, high band.
Also, Verizon Prepaid Unlimited doesn't include it either. So if you want that super fastest 5G, you have to get one of the more expensive Verizon plans. This is true across most wireless carriers.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. There are exceptions like Visible that offers 5G, but they don't offer 3G, which is interesting because 3G is going away in the next year or two. So people that have 3G coverage right now are going to just lose it. Probably not a great thing.
Don't switch to a more expensive cell phone plan just
not
for 5G.
For 5G. Yeah.
Also, another disadvantage, slow rollout. It's already been slow. It's going to keep being slow. As we said earlier, T-Mobile, 90% of the United States by 2023. The other carriers who are behind T-Mobile aren't going to get it out that fast. And it's just...
Well, it's not like they're differentiating here between high-band 5G, which doesn't go through walls and is in streets of cities and stadiums, or mid-band 5G, which is fast and probably a pretty good solution for a lot of people, but doesn't exist yet. And then the low-band 5G, which is what they're talking about here, which is essentially the same as 4G LTE. In some cases, it might be a little bit faster, but it's the same frequency ranges, same technology.
Yeah, we've actually tested 4G LTE here versus 5G, and the speeds are very comparable. There have been some speed tests where the 4G beats the 5G.
Overall, it did.
So, I mean, even if we have coverage, it might not be as good as the 4G LTE coverage.
And what I've noticed is that I'm driving along the road sometimes and I lose my Apple Music connection. I was walking up the stairs the other day to my friend Dan's house, and I was on 5G on my phone, and I couldn't send an iMessage. Or I'm losing the Apple Music connection. So all I do is I go into Settings, Cellular Data Options, Voice and Data, and choose LTE. And then I use LTE, and then all of a sudden everything works perfectly. So if you're having problems with your 5G phone, just go back to LTE, it'll work better. It's better to have a 4-bar LTE signal than a 1-bar 5G signal, and that's what we're seeing a lot of right now.
Yep, another disadvantage of 5G. A lot of those older phones just aren't compatible. Like, take, for instance, the iPhone 10. You can get it for less than $300 on eBay or Amazon. It's a really good phone. First iPhone with Face ID. The more recent models, iPhone 11, iPhone 12, they aren't that big of an upgrade from the iPhone 10. The iPhone 10 is going to have iOS update support for the next several years. But if you want to use 5G, you can't on that phone.
Right, or the iPhone 10s or the iPhone 11 that you have. But who cares? I have the iPhone 12. I don't use 5G on my phone either.
Yep, don't upgrade your phone just for 5G. Same thing with the plans, just 5G is not a good add-on.
Right, and the reason is that it's useless because 4G is fast enough for everything that we do on our phones. What they show is that, okay, yeah, I can download a movie in seconds, which I can't do on 4G LTE. If I want to download an entire movie at once onto my phone, and I'm outside in a major city, then I could do it. So, like, is that really a use case for people? Because 4G is more than fast enough to stream 1080p, YouTube, Netflix, anything. It's more than fast enough. It's like...
Well, that kind of leads into our next disadvantage, and that's just the range, especially for high band, is awful. And you made a good point about the Verizon commercials. You see these people, they're all outdoors because 5G high band cannot penetrate walls. The range is awful.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
And that's the 5G they're talking about in all their commercials. Blazing fast 5G. It's super fast, going to change everything. Oh, but you can't
it's this
walk
shiny,
inside.
Yeah, they're holding up this shiny object, which is like this much of what 5G actually is. And then what most of 5G is the T-Mobile 600 megahertz, like crazy commercial. It's such good technology, which is the same technology as rabbit ears used to use on analog TVs. And then the FCC turned that off and sold it to T-Mobile. True story.
Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about 5G. Are you more excited than us? Do you have other disadvantages that we missed in this video? Please let us know. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe to our channel. We bust on 5G all the time.
Yeah, if you don't like 5G,
if you don't like 5G,
club. We got a whole angry club, anti-5G.
And if you can, please join this channel. We'd really appreciate your support.